Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jones for Veterans in Politics. Today we have Nicole DiTommaso. Nailed it. All right, we're going to discuss the Wendy25 Memorial Fund. But before we get to Nicole, Jim, you have any rants?
Yeah.
Okay, Jim, that's enough.
Of course, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it short as I usually do, and I'm going to actually have a point, which I normally don't. And everybody,
is this a public service announcement or is this actual rant?
No, just a little bit. Last Saturday when we had Shelley Berkeley on, which I guess her and I were talking.
She's the total package, by the way.
Yeah.
That's going to be her new slogan.
Yeah.
The total package, Shelley Berkeley.
She's interesting.
For me.
And I like Shelley Berkeley a lot. But anyway, I had spoken about how Dominion voting systems, right? And it sued Fox News, and Fox News settled for $787 million. Well, anyway, it was interesting that and then on Monday they fired Tucker Carlson, and I was like, man, how do you fire Tucker Carlson? Like, that's like their most popular guy on the show. So anyway, I just thought on their network, I just found that interesting. But, I've been watching Tucker Carlson since I was 16 years old. And you know what? He's going to make a lot more money now. He's not going to be working for Fox anymore. So basically, here's my rant.
He probably goes to CNN now.
Nah. He was already at CNN before he went to Fox. So, no. I hate to say this, but, the hell with Fox News. If they're going to fire Tucker Carlson, you know what? And Tucker Carlson was only making $8 million a year.
That's it.
And here's the thing. Everybody's like, only $8 million? Okay, well, I wish I made $8 million a year. But when you compare it to Sean Hannity, that's making $45 million a year from Fox News.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Come on. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, they're not even. So good luck, Tucker Carlson. And I bet you any amount of money, he's going to make a lot more money than $8 million a year.
Well, it sounds like Sean Hannity has a different agent than Tucker Carlson.
Maybe.
I'll get Sean Hannity's agent.
Right. Yeah.
40 million to 8 million.
But yeah, I think honestly what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way is, I think corporate media in general is dying, and that's whether it's Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, or just the major news networks. And so I want to thank you for getting me involved in what now is considered the new media, because I remember when you first talked to me in 2007, you're like, hey, I got this contract with this, we just do internet. And I'm like, I don't follow who the hell wants to go on the internet. And social media is going to be the new thing. And I'm like, this guy's lost his mind. Now here we are. Now everybody and their mother is leaving the corporate media.
And they're in their kitchen on their computer making a podcast.
Exactly.
So I got my cooking channel here.
Right.
Everybody's got their own cooking channel.
So I'm like, damn it. In 2007, Steve was telling me this was going to happen. And now here we are. Now everybody else is going the same route we are. So you are truly a trendsetter. I guess that's how Marines roll.
Now all we got to do is get Badass to be our sponsor, and then we're good.
Right. So, yeah.
You done?
Yeah, it wasn't a rant. It was more just needed to get some stuff on my chest. Just general conversation.
So this is Nicole DiTommaso. DiTommaso. Miss DiTommaso, could you give us a bio?
Absolutely.
And thank you for coming here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
And by the way, folks, our two sponsors are Ron Quince and Stephanie Phillips for U.S. Senate. In case I forget. Please.
Yes. So I'm a volunteer with the Wendy25 Memorial Fund.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fund that started about 13 years ago.
It's 25, not 25.
It's 25, correct.
25.
Correct, not 25.
Okay.
Common misconception.
Well, how are you supposed to know if it's 25 or 25 because it's 2 and the 5 right next to the Wendy?
It's true. It's true. You got to be an insider.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually the call sign.
How come it doesn't go 2-5? That way it'll know it's 25. Because they put them together.
We
you
spell
think
it out
25.
a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
All right, just wanted to break that down.
Glad you did. Thank you.
Please.
Oh, yes. It was a call sign of a helicopter that went down in Afghanistan
Mm-hmm.
on April 6, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
The commander of the unit kind of started a little reunion here in Las Vegas for the family members.
Do you
of
know
a fallen.
was it soldiers?
It was. Well, it was. So there were actually 5 Big Wendy crew members.
Do you know the names of the ones that perished?
Everybody on the helicopter perished. So there were 18
do you have their
total.
Names? Oh, 18. Do you have all 18 names with you so we can name them all off?
I do, yes.
Oh, let's name all 18 off.
All right.
Please.
Let's do it. Let me pull them up because I do not have them memorized.
Pluma, you'll name all 18 of these soldiers that gave their life for this country.
Absolutely.
And therefore, we have the Wendy25
Yes.
Memorial Fund.
So we have...
With their rank, please.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. We have CW2 Clint Prather, CW2 David Ayala, SSG Charles Chuck Sanders, Specialist Michael Spivey, Specialist Pendleton Sykes II, Major Edward Murphy, Major David Connolly, Sergeant Major Barbelin Banks, Specialist Daniel Freeman, Master Sergeant Edwin Matto Scollin. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry. Specialist Crystal Stout, Specialist Sasha Strubble, Sergeant Stephen High, Staff Sergeant Romans Woodward, Marine Sergeant James S. Lee, and then the last 3 are government contractors: Jason Lucio, Lance Taylor, and Ronald Wade.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Folks, these are the men and women that gave their lives for this country. And because of that, this memorial is named after them.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Please continue.
Okay. Well, thank you for honoring them.
Absolutely.
As I was saying, they started a reunion here in Las Vegas, kind of informally. And then 5 years later decided to formalize the gathering. They started a 501c3. All the board members were members of the unit. They're all, go ahead.
What are their names?
We have Craig Wilhelm.
What was his rank?
He was the commander.
Okay,
So he's the one who started this. We have Shane Spoon Hubbard. What's Dave's last name? I think it's Broadard. And then Robin, I don't know his last name either. Okay. And Brooke.
And they all were on the helicopter?
No, so they were all in the unit.
They
were all in the unit, yes.
Everybody on the
Big
helicopter
Wendy.
perished?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. There were no survivors.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very tragic.
It is.
Did you hear about the 2 Apache helicopters that collided over Alaska?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yes. Also tragic.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
So they formalized it, started a 501c3 about 13 years ago.
Okay.
We do a 5K race here in Las Vegas. The Cosmopolitan is our sponsor. They have been very gracious over the last 13 years.
How much?
Sure.
What's the average that 5K raise?
So to date, they've raised 1.3 million over the last 13 years. Yes.
They should get that in a 5K. Every 5K they should have that.
I know. No, they work hard to get what they get. They're they're all volunteers. They're no paid board members. Yes. They all have lives and families outside of it.
No, I'm saying people should just automatically donate.
I agree. We're always looking for sponsors for that one. COVID, as with most things, kind of threw a little bit of a ring in. Right. Luckily, that year it was actually early, so we still got to meet that February. Typically, we meet in April. Okay. So in 2020, as fate would have it, we met in February before the turn of the world. Okay. So we're trying to kind of regather some of the sponsors that we lost during the COVID time frame, primarily in airlines. So we used to have an airline that would fly the families out. Due to COVID, they dropped out.
What airline was that?
It was American Airlines.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're actively looking for an
Have you tried
sponsor.
Southwest because they're locally based there?
I have not. I've reached out. I don't have any direct point of contact. So, when you fly blind and just start kind of sending letters.
You can't fly blind. You'll crash.
That's true. And that's what I've been doing with these sponsors. So hopefully someone from Southwest is listening.
So you have a website that you go to? Or?
For Wendy?
Yes.
Yes. So we do have a website. We're actively looking to get it a little bit updated right now. But it is Wendy25.org.
So you need a web designer as well?
We would love a web designer. We're, like I said, we're all volunteers. We try hard. It's just, some of our specialties are lacking a little bit, and website design might be one of them. I'm going to start trying to see what I can do with it, which is very preliminary.
Okay. And what else?
What else? I don't even know where I left off. So I would say one of the coolest things about this organization is that they're so family oriented. It's a really cool opportunity for these families to get together to celebrate the lives of their loved ones that they lost. And over the last 13 years, they've just really created a bond and welcome, other surviving families as well. So we've partnered with Legacies Alive. Okay. Which is another organization that, as their name, represents, tries to keep the memories and legacies of the fallen soldiers with us, and very present. So I think that this event has just really provided a platform for that to happen.
Well, tell us about the event, what time it starts, how do you register, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. So it actually just happened. It was on April 15th.
It already happened?
It already happened. We're a little
Show's over.
But we have a whole year to prepare for next year.
Okay, tell us. Tell us what transpired this last one and then bring us into what we're going to do next year. Yeah,
so we had about 140 race participants. Okay. We gather,
Do they pay registration fee?
They do, yes. So we have like an early bird, and then it goes up, I think, like $10. And then all of that money is donated as well. We've been very lucky to get sponsors that help put on the race.
And who are these sponsors?
So the Cosmopolitan is definitely the biggest one. They honor us with putting the family members up.
Oh, really?
With hotel rooms, nice. Yes. Yeah. They also provide a dinner for us.
Okay.
For the family members and
At
the
what
space.
Restaurant?
So they do it in like a ballroom, and then they have like a buffet style. Yeah. Okay. So great food. Can't complain. Okay. We did it at Wicked Spoon one year.
I'm familiar with Wicked Spoon.
Yeah, Wicked Spoon's good. And then they also provide us the space, so to have like the race registration and the meeting rooms and. Okay. And then, of course, the area in front of the Cosmo, we do a little ceremony before the race. And then
they sound like the main sponsor.
They are definitely the main sponsor. Mm-hmm. We are so grateful for them. Mm-hmm. They've really been provided a great space for us to have this event. Okay. And then we start the run down Las Vegas Boulevard and then turn up Harmon.
Do they close that off, or how did they?
They close a little portion of it off. Yes. Okay. And Metro has been gracious in donating a lot of the officers' overtime, covering those costs because those definitely have gone up as well, like everything else. Masters of Barricades, they provide all of the, cones and everything that we need. Although the area is under construction, so cones we're not falling short of in the Las Vegas Valley right now.
Cones everywhere.
Yeah, just got to move them from one street to another, and we're good. State flower. So we have BlackRock as well. BlackRock
What is
is
that?
a huge sponsor. They're a financial company.
Oh, okay.
So they've been a sponsor all 13 years that we've had the organization. Those are our primary sponsors, I would say.
Okay.
We have a few smaller organizations, but without those, we wouldn't be here.
So you said you lost your airline. So what?
We did.
How did you? What airline was used this time?
So this time there was no airlines. We used sponsorship money.
Oh, okay. So that really
to purchase.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the main goal is to get the families here. So we do provide, their transportation, hotel stays, food.
Does the family participate in the run? Or?
Some of them run. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, they do participate. It's kind of cool because this year we're starting to see some generations now. So there were a couple really little ones there this year. That was cool.
Oh, teenagers or yeah.
Oh no, like the kids are having kids. So like 1 year old,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's cool. So my brother-in-law was actually in the unit as well. That's how I kind of got tied in. So my nieces and nephews, who are now 8, 6, and 4, we've brought them to the race, every year. So it's just cool to kind of see, the different time passing, and
so what website is this that people could go on and register or sponsor?
Yeah, so it's Wendy25.org, and then all of our email and contact information is on there. We also have a Facebook page, of course, Wendy25 Memorial.
And how do you promote this event?
So we do have a media sponsor. It's Lennar. Is how you pronounce it?
Lamar?
Lennar. I'm pretty sure it's Lennar.
Is it like a billboard company?
It is, yes. It's
Lamar.
a billboard.
I think it's Lamar.
Is it Lamar?
I think so.
Yeah.
Lumar, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
Lamar.
I think you're right. Yeah. So they put some billboards up for us.
Oh, okay.
And then otherwise it's really self-promotion.
Okay.
So I
That's another sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of get a little bit more involved in the community so that we can build like more of a local
Do you get out to the meet and greets and events that they have all around town?
I'm kind of starting to, yes.
Okay.
I used to be, so I lived here, and then during COVID, I moved away to Nashville.
Why you ran from us?
I went somewhere where there were no regulations, Nashville.
She didn't like the governor.
I didn't like the I couldn't
It's
deal.
interesting. Like Nashville, Tennessee, like is just exploding. Like everybody's moving there. I've noticed.
Oh yeah, it was
Probably because of what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like this is a safe town.
It's like everybody I ask, where do you live? Well, I moved to Nashville or I moved to Austin, Texas. I'm like, it's one of the two now.
But Vegas is the number 2 as far as people moving to.
Yeah.
Houston came in number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You notice they're leaving the blue states and going to the red state. Well, this is not a red state, but now it is maybe.
We'll work on that.
It's a little darker.
Stephanie Phillips, she'll change it.
She'll change it around.
We'll Nevada will be red as soon as we elect Stephanie Phillips.
Okay, so there you have it.
There you have it. Yeah, so I was pre-COVID in the event industry.
Okay.
COVID kind of changed everything, lost my position, and went to Nashville to find work because, again, it was open.
Right. So what do you do with Wendy25? What's your function?
Yes, so being in the event industry, I kind of help them tie some of the loose ends together.
What does that mean?
Just bring
Take out a few
together.
people,
Yeah.
bury a couple here, there.
Listen,
Loose ends. Those are all loose
because I'm
ends.
Italian.
Like it's almost empty. You can't dump
Yeah,
any more
you
bottles.
ain't gotta like meat
But there's a
anymore.
lot of desert out there.
There is a lot of desert.
A lot of desert
And
out
there's
there.
a lot of those places you could just drop something down and just keeps dropping. It just keeps dropping.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Online.
I like her already. She knows how to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know what you mean.
Italian. Blood runs thick.
Please continue.
Yes,
Nicole.
absolutely. So I'm trying to, again, build kind of more of the local involvement.
Right.
A lot of our, none of the board members live here anymore. One used to
They
live here.
all left.
Yeah, they've all moved. So yeah, one did live here. Obviously my sister and brother-in-law live here as well. So
They're still here.
They're still here. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. They're still
Thank
here.
the Lord. One board member is still around.
Well, my brother-in-law is not on the board. He was just in the unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So none of the board members live here. So I kind of just volunteer my garage to store some stuff for them year round, which is very, helpful not to have to transport it or pay for storage.
Right.
And then just serve as like a local point of contact. So when items need to be returned or like after the race. And then again, just really trying to build in some more local support.
But what's your background? You personally, what's your background?
Me personally.
Yeah.
So I think I briefly mentioned I was in the event industry. So I actually worked.
What does that mean in the event? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
what does that
you're
mean
fine.
in the event industry?
So-
What's your task? Social media, grassroots. What do you do? Catering.
Well, so now I'm in a different world.
I know specifically what do you do.
Okay, so I'm going to start with what I did because it does tie into
What
I do now.
Okay. Full circle.
So full circle, we're going to go. So I started out my career as a little young duck in the event industry, which is live community events. So we did parades, festivals. I worked for the government. So I started out in MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation for the Army in Germany. It's actually how I met my brother-in-law, who I introduced to my sister.
You did it.
Yeah, I did
So
it.
you shouldn't say nothing if something goes wrong. Your sister should be mad at you.
Oh, no. No.
I'd be like, it's sister's fault.
No. I just said she's yours now.
Oh, so
That was basically my wedding
you were
speech.
trying to get rid of her. You pawned her off one of him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thankful too to this day.
You got any nieces and nephews?
Yes, I have 2 nephews and a niece
From
from
the pawning off.
the pawning off. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
So
there
three
you go.
of my favorite humans are now on this planet.
You
because of
created
that.
life and not knowing you did.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's how I got introduced to the unit.
Mhm.
Was serving over there as a civilian on that on that Army base.
Okay.
So then I came back to Vegas. I was actually one of the rare people that were born here. So back to Vegas.
Not anymore.
I
remember when I first came here. I went to a driver's ed class because I ran a red light a long time ago, and they had me in this driver. This was in the late '90s. So I'm in this driver's ed class, and the instructor goes, "Who was born in Vegas?" And I'm looking around. One person, the class was about 30 people. One person raised their hand. I'm like, "You were born here? Who's born here?"
Exactly. A professor did that at UNLV. Started the class that way. Raise your hand if you were born here. And when I raised my hand, he was like, "Oh, well, there goes the rest of my joke." Nobody ever raises their hand.
Exactly. Now everybody's raising their hand because I have a daughter that's born here.
There you go. There you go. Us locals, we're coming up.
I know, big time.
Pushing all the...
So, you were born here. That's interesting.
See?
But no, seriously, what high school did you graduate
So
from?
I actually went to high school in Reno.
There you go. There goes your joke, Jim.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out the window.
They're off
Yep.
the joke.
I know.
I was hoping you'd say something like, "Oh, I graduated from Rancho" or something, then I could make fun of you. Now I can't.
No. Nope, I'm also one of the rare educated Nevadans.
The rare educated in Nevada.
Just kidding.
You got all your teeth? Let me see.
I'm just kidding. I won't rant on our
What high school in Reno?
on our school districts.
What high school in Reno?
I went to actually Truckee Meadows Community College High School. So I started, it was a dual program. I graduated high school and got college credits at the same time.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Smart one.
well, free education, you know,
Yes.
the way
Get
of
rid those
grinding.
student loans.
Yep, exactly.
Joe Biden don't have to worry about her because Her student
No,
loans
my
taken
my
care of.
education was taken care of by cigarette smokers and alcohol drinkers. Millennium Scholarship,
You're
and I
welcome.
got an Anheuser-Busch Scholarship.
Hey, you might as well you get something positive
I am
out of the
such a
cancer
Nevadan.
and
Yeah.
diabetes and all the
I
other
know.
stuff that goes along with
You
smoking.
guys come here and do what you do, and I'm just gonna go to school.
There you
So
go.
thanks.
Help the economy, baby.
What can I say? And it's gotten me this far.
Nice.
So I worked, after that, I went into local government. So I did 2.5 years in Texas working for a government there.
Mhm.
Then was at City of Henderson here. COVID hit, lost my position with the City of Henderson.
Oh boy.
So that's when I went to Nashville, and now I find myself in the finance industry.
So you're back here now.
Back in Vegas.
Back in Vegas. Baby.
Yep, back in Vegas.
You ever thought about working for a political campaign?
I have not.
Oh,
Not a-
maybe you might want to
I
give that a
know.
little thought because that's coming up. Or you want to just hands off on that?
Well, I have a lot of very strong beliefs. My father will probably definitely stand by that.
So are you
But-
strong conservative or are you strong liberal?
I consider myself a red leaner.
Oh,
I do have a lot of blue social,
a little mix.
a little mix.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm all for people choosing,
Mhm.
choosing who they love, choosing what they do with their bodies.
Mhm.
But
When it comes to your
when it comes to
pocketbook,
my pocketbook,
yeah, leave my guns right where they are.
exactly.
I'm not messing with them either.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so
I hear
interesting
you.
you bring that up because, like, I've been saying that for years. I'm like, I think most people are conservative when it comes to their money and their security.
Mhm.
Now, social issues, okay,
They're a little
live and let live as long as you don't offend me
Yeah.
and hurt me in
Yeah.
any way, and we're good.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you.
Just
Love who
don't
you
blow
love.
me kisses and we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
It's all flattering. I don't care who blows me kisses. I like the attention.
Well, women don't really care.
Yeah.
But a man be like, did he just blow me a kiss?
It depends. Depends on the man.
Nice. I like it.
Okay, please, let's go back.
Yeah,
Let's go
okay.
back in there. Let's go back. We went
Well, I
political for a
mean,
minute.
that kind of wrapped it all first for full circle. So, it was now, like I said, now I'm in a personal wealth finance.
Okay.
Kind of worked pretty hard for a year to pass some of them tests, and
Okay.
now I'm back to my secure world of employment.
Well, if you ever want to work on a campaign, just let one of
Let
us
you
know.
know. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I do my event past is now more volunteer work. So, helping these guys.
Well, if you ever want to volunteer for one of those campaigns, let us know that too.
I certainly will.
And we'll lean you in the right demographic
Will you?
that you want to be leaned into.
Oh, I appreciate your genuine concern for my leaning.
Thank you. So, anything else about the Wendy25 that we haven't discussed?
I mean, I feel like we definitely, talked about a lot of the great points on why they're here, what they're doing.
Okay.
Really just the goals moving forward are continuing this fantastic event, allowing people to get together, to really celebrate and remember their loved ones,
Yes.
not to have a sad kind of time together, but to have an opportunity to lift them up, celebrate them. And year after year, I meet someone new and I hear new stories that just blow me away. And it just really makes me feel thankful to have the opportunity to support an organization that is so wonderful. And the opportunity to give back,
Right.
to those that gave all.
Right. And what country did these men and women perish over?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, Jim, you have anything else for Wendy?
Yeah, I guess my
Nicole. I called you Wendy.
Oh.
Well, you know what?
Maybe it was windy
That's a
in
good
your head.
point. Is it? How did they get the name Wendy? by the
So
way?
it's the call sign of
The
the
call
aircraft.
sign.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Wendy25 was
Okay.
So, I guess one of the things that, and this kind of frustrates me, but I mean, from a public relations standpoint, like how does, and I'm sure there's other organizations out there, okay, that are trying to do the same thing that your organization is doing. And thank you for doing that. But one of the things is that like 2005, so many people have forgotten about Afghanistan. Because we went into Afghanistan right after 2000, September 11th, 2001. And so many people have forgotten about that now. So is there is there an umbrella group that's also helping to support you guys? As far as just keeping all the men and women that perish in Afghanistan, like keeping Afghanistan on people's mind, like, hey, there's a lot of service men and women that perished in Afghanistan.
Absolutely, there are. And I think I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's one of the most beautiful things that this organization provides, especially through like the Facebook page, which I help moderate. Like I see people all the time reaching out on Messenger. Like I was there, I remember. So I think that this organization provides that as well, provides the umbrella for people to reconnect. And especially as I briefly mentioned, there were 9 soldiers that were not part of the unit that were on the aircraft, that those families have come together under this umbrella, where their unit maybe wasn't doing as much or anything, to come together and share the loss of their loved ones. So our organization also supports TAPS, who the families had shared that organization was really there for them in their time of loss. So we give back to TAPS, which supports around a little over 200 families here locally in the Vegas area, as well as nationwide. So
the other question I wanted to ask is there any animosity towards the current administration and how they just evacuated Afghanistan and just kind of left?
So not that, I've heard or seen, but we don't really talk politics when we're together.
Right. Well, which you shouldn't. I was just curious because I know your organization shouldn't talk politics, but at the same time, like, I'm just wondering, like, I almost feel bad because I just think that like Afghanistan, like, is something that a lot of people have forgotten. And I'm just wondering, like, I know if one of my family members, God forbid, lost their life in Afghanistan, I'd be upset. So I'm just wondering, like, I just want to know if there's any of that, or if it's just like what happened and we're just moving forward.
So I'm sure that there are a wide range of emotions. Right. And I'm sure each person feels and handles things differently at different moments, in their lives. Yeah. I know the expressing the gratitude for the ultimate sacrifice that was given is more of what we focus on when we're together.
Well, that's good to know. See, that's kind of what I was, in a roundabout way, I was trying to get at, is like, hey, let's just move forward now. And that's good. And I thank you for being involved in that.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. I feel like it's the least that I can do, is volunteer some time and some expertise that I've happened to gather over the 11 years I spent in the career field. And, and like I said, every year I'm just humbled to be there. I hear, new stories. I meet new people. The partnership with Legacies Alive has really expanded that family. They're bringing in, it's all Gold Star families. So they bring in a lot of Gold Star families as well. And just having a place to hear these stories, like the individual stories. And I think that's how we can kind of always remember the sacrifices that are being made, where I think us as humans, we're very in the now, world and instant gratification, where we do tend to forget, what happened in our past, especially as the younger generation comes up and didn't necessarily, have friends going over or had that personal connection to people serving, even if they're hearing about their parents, it's not as, it's not as personal if you're not in the moment, which I think is also just a human nature thing. So I think really like hearing the positive on what these people did when they were alive keeps their memory in the forefronts of our mind in an energy that can express, a thankful gratitude rather than a sadness and anger, because ultimately I don't know that anything good will come out of those emotions. So trying to turn these tragedies, into a positive light, I think is really, really all we can do.
Right. Yeah, because I just the individuals that passed away, I don't think any of them, well, I'm not going to, obviously, I don't know exactly what they'd be thinking, but I know both my parents have passed away, and I can tell you right now, my parents wouldn't want me sitting around every day, upset about them passing, just like keep moving forward. So
exactly. And I think that, like one of the stories that was shared with me just 2 weeks ago, about I talked to a woman whose son had passed, and she shared the final conversations that she had with him and how positive they were. And in that moment, I was so inspired. And I thought that is why we do what we do, that this person is continuing to move and inspire people to this day, and I think that's, just a beautiful, beautiful thing, that his memory, from somebody that perished, over a decade ago can still move someone today, is a beautiful thing.
I like it. Yeah. You have anything else from Nicole?
No.
Nicole, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
this
for having me.
This has been a different show than what we normally have. This is more fun.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I told you weren't going to need your stress thing too much on this one.
Yeah, some people I want to.
Well, I'm glad I walked away without that.
Nicole, Mark's going to zoom in on you, and then you could reach out to whatever demographics you want. If you want to reach out to sponsors, or if you want to reach out to people who join the organization, or whatever you want, and if you want to encompass the two. Or if you have more than two, then just go ahead and do that as well. And the website and point of contact if you want to give it.
Yes, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for listening. We are always actively seeking sponsors, especially an airline sponsor. Southwest, if you're listening, we would love to have you. You can find more information on Wendy25.org. You can reach out to Craig, who is the commander and leading board member, or any of the email addresses on that website. We would love to have you participate in the race next year, or any involvement at all. So thank you again for having me.
Well, thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Jim. Folks, that's Nicole DiTommaso. Nicole DiTommaso. She is talking about the 18 men and women that gave their lives for this country in the helicopter over Afghanistan. And they're running a group called Wendy25, which is the call sign for that Huey, or that helicopter. I don't know if it was a Huey. And they're doing a memorial fund. Please get involved in this organization. Find out who they're about. Sponsor or volunteer, or whatever you want. And they also need a web designer. So please, web designers out there, please get involved and help this organization out. It's for the 18 men and women that perished over Afghanistan, that was serving this country, that gave us that gave us the right to be free. And we need to give back to these people. Thank you so much. This is Steve Sanchez, Jim Jones for Veterans in Politics. Until next time.